Today we're going to be assembling a book nook. Now, those of you who have purchased a kit from me, I'd like to just go through what the pieces are. Those of you who haven't purchased a kit from me, but you have the instructions. So the book nook that I'm going to do today is a 4-inch wide book nook, and it would arrive with 5 pieces. So I'm just going to switch the camera view here, and we'll go through what the 5 pieces are. Okay, so, all right, so the first thing is you have 2 sides. Now, regardless of the size of your book nook, the width of it, all of the sides are the same size. They are 9 inches tall, and 10 inches tall and 9 inches wide. Okay, so you can see that 9 inches wide, 10 inches tall. And in one corner, there's 2 sides, okay, 2 of them. And in one of them, you will see that there's a hole drilled in the top corner. Now, this is far enough in that you can put a side there and still have the hole available. The hole is specifically for one thing, and that's to give you a way of connecting your battery from the inside of your box to the on-off switch, which will be on the outside of the box. So your battery will be in here, and your on-off switch will be around the back here. Okay, so 2 pieces that are 9 by 10. And as I say, I'm doing a 4-inch book nook. So all of these 3 remaining pieces are the same width. They're all 4 inches. We have the floor, which is the smallest of the 3. We have 2 that are almost exactly the same size. There's only an 1/8 of an inch difference between the 2. That's the thickness of the floor, okay? So the shorter one of the 2 is the false inner wall. You may not use that one, but okay, let's proceed. Now, there are 2 schools of thought on whether or not you assemble the book nook first and then decorate it, or whether you decorate the individual walls first and then put them together. Now, if you choose to decorate the individual walls first, what you need to do is on 2 pieces of, and I'm going to use the plain side for this, is you need to mask off an area where your glue is going to go. Okay, so what you're going to do is just put some guidelines on here that are 1/8 of an inch from the edge, okay? Like that. Now, I don't think you can see that very well, but there is actually a pencil line down that side. And do the same thing with the bottom. I'm just going to eyeball that one for the sake of argument. Okay, that's where this is where your back glues onto, and this is where your floor glues onto. You do not want to paint these areas, okay? Because you don't want to interfere with the glue getting the best adhesion in the 2 areas, okay? So mask those off. Then you can proceed to decorate your individual walls. Do not bring anything past that line, okay? However, we're going to actually assemble it today. So the first thing we're going to do, I'm a great believer in putting all of my masking tape on ahead of time. Okay, so where did my masking tape go? Here. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some 4-inch strips of masking tape, okay? And I'm going to put them underneath the box, underneath the side, like this. Okay, so you have three pieces of masking tape sticking out at the side here. And we are going to take our glue. I've just got a little piece of paper here that I'm going to use to put the glue on. Okay, my glue bottle did not want to cooperate, so what I have done is put a good dollop of glue onto my piece of paper here. And taking my glue spreader, I'm going to, actually this is quite handy where the, that's the hard way of doing it. I'm going to take the back. Now the back is the taller of the two. It's actually easier to put your glue on this edge rather than having to follow that 1/8 inch line. So I'm just going to apply glue along here. Okay, and I'm going to line it up and glue it along that edge there. And this is where the masking tape comes in, because now that you've got it lined up, it's just a case of bringing up your 3 pieces of masking tape, like so. And see how I've got that there? What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on end, and I'm going to take my Lego corner and make sure that it is square. Now the other thing I'm going to do while I have the glue drying a little bit is just run my finger up the join here on the inside and make sure I don't have any excess glue. Okay, and I'm just going to let that sit for a second while I get the next stage ready. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take some more masking tape. And I'm going to put it underneath my piece that I have, I'm waiting for the glue to dry on. Okay, so the second piece is going to just slide under here as well. Okay, and I'm going to, on the outside, let's see, you can't really see that, can you? Let me move this over a bit. Okay, so on the outside, we're going to fasten it up like that. Okay. Again, back in the corner. Okay, now you're going to take your floor. The floor is the shortest of the pieces, and you're going to apply glue to one of the short sides. And one of the long sides. Whoops, which side do I got on? Okay, that side. And we're going to apply glue on one of the long side. Now, the glue that I'm using here is actually Weld Bond. For gluing MDF, a PVA glue is the best, although tacky will work. Most wood glues, or many wood glues, especially the yellow ones, are PVA glues. So you're probably okay with that. But as I say, PVA is your best glue for gluing MDF. So we are going to apply glue on here. I'll just run my fingers along there to get the worst of the excess off. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this piece, slide this piece into the right angle corner formed by the other 2 pieces, okay? So it just goes in like that, and it goes on top of the masking tape. Okay, so there you go. You've got a nice square corner because of the Lego blocks. Okay, you can see the Lego blocks are holding it all square. and pressure from your hand into the corner. Now, all glues have got what I think they call it tack time, the amount of time it actually takes to grab. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shut the camera off for a second and give this a chance to grab before we go on to the next piece. Okay, I've given my book Nook, my partially assembled book Nook, enough time for the glue to, it's certainly not dry. PVA glues tend to take longer to dry than other types. Dry completely, that is, but it's certainly dry enough now that we can take the corner off and we can turn it on end. So the first thing we're going to do is stabilize that floor with some more masking tape. So let's just put some masking tape around there and onto the floor, holding it tight together. And put a second piece down here, again, to hold it tight together. I love masking tape. I don't know what I would do without masking tape. Okay, so we've got a relatively stable book here. Now, just let me change the camera angle for a few minutes here. Okay, now, you may want to consider at this stage whether this would be the best shape for your book Nook to do your interior decorating. So for example, if you wanted to do a wall of shops, a Diagon Alley type thing along here, you may want to do that while it's in this condition, because the only piece we have left to put on is this piece, which is the last side. Okay, so that's the last piece that has to go on. So it's your judgment here. Do you want to leave this open at this point? I find it, for something like wallpapering, I find it better to have it together already, because then you can run your wallpaper right around the corner. And when I say wallpaper, I mean a mural, any kind of decorative finish that has to be glued onto here. If it's going to be something like buildings, again, your judgment. So you've got this loose piece. Now, the piece that I've got loose is the one with the hole in it at the top. The hole in it is, as I said, to provide for a connection between the inside of the box, which is where your battery will be located, and the outside of the box, which is where your on-off switch will be located. Now, my on-off switch is going to be on the upper right-hand corner. But because of the placement of this, you could put this wall on either side, or you could put it so that the hole is to the front, which means then you'd have a very short distance to your on-off switch. Just depends where you want to hide the battery. Now, in one of the other videos that I'm doing, I'm going to talk a little bit about how to hide a battery and how to put in a mirror. But one of the ways to hide a battery, and I'm sorry, let me finish this. Where you locate that hole depends on where you're going to put your battery. The one thing I would recommend, though, is that the hole always go to the top of the box, and that where you put your battery always goes to the top of the box. The reason for that is that we need to have the battery in a relatively accessible place so we can easily change it when it runs out, and it will run out. One way to do that is to put a false wall on the inside. Now, I'm not going to install this false wall, but that is how you would put a false wall in there, just using some foam core or something, just as a spacer at the bottom and at the top. And you can just rest your 9-volt battery on top of that. Your wall goes on the outside and your hole is hidden behind the false wall. I don't know if you can, since this isn't glued, it's going to be tricky. I don't think I can actually show it to you. Yeah, you see, it would fit sort of like that. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to talk a little bit more about this particular wall placement. The Diagon Alley type room that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be building the storefronts outside the box and then putting them in. So, but actually, I think I might leave this loose. When the time comes that you decide you want to glue this in place, it's a simple matter of running your glue down these down these two sides, along here and along here, and just placing your last side on top. And this isn't actually glued, but again, put your strips of masking tape on the piece. So I'm going to show you how you do it, but without actually using the glue. So you put your masking tape like this. Okay. Then you put your glue along the two sides. You line it up carefully, starting from the corner, making sure that it's in perfect position. And then all you have to do is just wrap down the masking tape along the sides. And you have a book nook ready to put aside and let the glue dry. Okay, talk to you in the next video.